Welcome to week 3 of the Evergreen Crochet Along. If you missed weeks 1 and 2, I'll link them down in the description. In today's tutorial we're going to be learning part 3 that's called the Mistletoe stitch. This is an easy stitch that is alternating rows of single crochets and double crochets with some bobble stitches thrown in there. These bobbles are really easy to make and I'll show you how to make them step by step. For this week, don't forget we need to use the larger hook of 3.75mm. So grab your crochet hook and let's get crocheting. For this section, we're going to be working alternate rounds from the wrong side and then the right side, so we're turning at the end of every round. So we're actually going to be joining our yarn from the wrong side. So I'm going to turn my work inside out. My sample is a lot smaller than yours, so it'll be a little bit easier for you to get to the wrong side of yours. And then you're going to join our yarn just as we've done previously to any stitch. This round is round 15, so for round 15 work a chain of 1, then work a single crochet into the same stitch. Now work a single crochet into each stitch around and then slip stitch in the first stitch to join. I'll meet you at the end of the round. So here I am at the end of round 15, and for round 16 chain 3, this counts as your first double crochet, then turn the work over, so we're now working from the right side again. Work a double crochet into each stitch around. So I've just finished off round 16 with a slip stitch, and then we're ready for a round of bobbles, and bobble stitches are actually the same as these 3 double crochet clusters we were doing in the second section of the cowl, but because we work them from the wrong side during a row of single crochet, they pop out to form a bobble, and I will show you that step by step if you've not done bobbles before. So the first step is to chain 1. This does not count as a stitch. Now turn your work over, single crochet in the same stitch. Now it can be a little bit confusing when you're working these rows from the back, so the single crochet you need to make is actually into this space here. So work a single crochet in there. Then work a single crochet into the next stitch. So that's this double crochet here, not this slip stitch, this double crochet. So work 1 single crochet. And in the next stitch we're going to make a bobble. So work a 3 double crochet cluster. So yarn over, put your hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We've made 1 partial double crochet. Make 2 more partial double crochets into the same space. So that's the second and then the third. Then you've got 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. As you can see, this cluster stitch looks exactly the same as these cluster stitches down here. However, when we work a single crochet in the next stitch, it's going to magically turn into a bobble. So we're going to be making a single crochet into this stitch here, and as you can see that's pushed that stitch down, and if we look at it from the right side you can see that it's pushed itself out into a bobble. So now work a single crochet into the next 4 stitches, so we'll have 5 single crochets total between our bobbles. So that's 3, 4, 5. Now work a bobble into the next stitch, so that 3 double crochet cluster, so those 3 partial double crochets, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, then a single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, and repeat that all the way around your cowl, working a bobble stitch and then 5 single crochets until you end up back at the end of the round, and I'll meet you there. So here I am at the end of round 17, and I have just worked 1, 2, 3 single crochets after my last bobble stitch, and then made a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch to join the round. We're now going to repeat round 16. So for round 18, chain 3, that counts as your first double crochet. Turn your work over so you're working from the right side of the work, and then work a double crochet into every stitch around, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. So I've finished my round and I've done a slip stitch into the top of the starting chain to join, and before we do this round I just want to show you the finished section. So I just wanted to show you the finished section of this cowl to show you the spacing of the bubbles. So these bubbles are worked on round 17, round 19 and round 21, and as you can see they're offset from each other to form this diamond pattern. So this round of bubbles is different to the other two rounds of bubbles, the one that we've done and the one that we're going to do, so just keep that in mind, but I will sort of explain each round as we come to them. As with our previous round of bubbles, we're going to turn our work. So chain one and turn your work over, then work a single crochet back into the same stitch. So we're going back into this chain 3 here, so in that space there. Next, single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So remember, we're skipping this slip stitch here and our next stitch is in this double crochet. We're going to work a single crochet in 4 double crochet. So we will have made 5 single crochets total at the beginning of this round. Then make a bobble just as we've done previously, so that 3 double crochet cluster with those 3 partial double crochets all into the same stitch, and then a yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Then work a single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches and then work a bobble and repeat around until the end of the round, and I'll meet you back here for round 20. So here I am at the end of the round, and my final stitch was a bobble stitch before my slip stitch in the top of the first stitch. And the next round is a nice easy round of double crochet, so start with a chain of 3, turn your work and work 1 double crochet into each stitch around. Your first double crochet should be in the top of the last bobble stitch. So yeah, crochet that round a double crochet, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round for the final round of bobbles. So the next round is actually a repeat of round 17. So to do that round, chain 1, turn your work over, work a single crochet back into the top of the starting chain, then work 1 single crochet into the next double crochet stitch, so in there, then work a bobble, then work your 5 single crochets and then another bobble, and repeat all the way around until the end of the round. Once you've finished round 21, that final round of bobbles, you then need to turn your work and work a round of double crochet just as we did previously. Then turn your work again and work a round of single crochet from the back just like we did on that very first row of this section. And this is what your work should look like. If you want to, you can fasten off and finish here, but I found that this top edge has a tendency to gape when you wear it like a cowl, especially if you have this bit at the top near your face, because it gets quite stretchy over time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a kind of reinforcement row of slip stitches. If you're a particularly tight crocheter, I recommend going up a hook size for this round. So I've just done my slip stitch to finish off my round of single crochet, and then I'm going to turn my work over without making any starting chain. Then I'm going to slip stitch in that last single crochet, so I'm skipping that slip stitch we did to join, and I'm slip stitching straight into that stitch like that. And make sure these slip stitches are fairly loose, especially if you've not gone up a hook size. Now slip stitch in each stitch all the way around to reinforce that top edge, and I'll meet you back at the end of this round to show you how we would do an invisible join to finish off. So I finished my round of slip stitch, and my last stitch was in that single crochet stitch there. You can see over here is my first single crochet, so I'll show you how we do an invisible join to give a seamless finish at the top. So first, cut your yarn, leaving a tail long enough to weave in later, so about 6 inches is ideal. Then use your hook to pull that yarn end through that last slip stitch we just made. Thread that yarn tail onto a needle. This can be a blunt or a sharp needle. I tend to prefer using blunt needles for the invisible join, but then a sharp needle to weave the end in after. So take your needle if it wants to focus. So yeah, take your needle and then put it under both loops of this first slip stitch of the round over here. So under those 2 loops just there. Then we're going to go underneath the back loop of that last slip stitch of the round. So I'm going underneath that loop there. Then pull that tail just enough so that that invisible join we've made there is about the same length as all of these other slip stitches we've made, and that's how you get a seamless finish at the end of the cowl. You can then weave this end in securely on the inside of the cowl and weave in all of the rest of your ends as well, and then block your cowl. I would love it if you could share a picture of your finished cowl with me. Use the hashtag Evergreen Cowl on social media, or if you prefer, post a photo in our private Facebook group called Mima Makes Crochet Community. I'll link it down in the description. I hope you've enjoyed this crochet along. I'm already planning the next crochet along, and yeah, I will see you again in another tutorial soon.